So you've decided to become a designer.
Yay!
Congratulations. Now you've taken the first and most important step in your career, and now you've opened Figma and you're like, what is the next thing for me to do? I know this might look a little bit confusing and complex at first, but don't worry, I'm going to walk you through every aspect of Figma in as quick as I can and get you up and running in no time. Figma is one of the best tools that UX designers use in companies globally, and this is one of the best tools you can use to secure your job and grow your future. So I'm going to walk you through how to get Figma, how to start creating projects. I'll walk you through the new redefined interface, the UI 3, and also all of the latest update that has come since the last config that happened in 2025. Depending on the time you're watching this particular walkthrough is updated for 2025. So it has all of the newest features, and I'm going to show you everything you need to get started in using Figma right from this very video. So lock in. This video might be a little bit bulky, but it's going to give you all you need. So just lock in, click that like button, subscribe, and let's dive right into Figma while I'll show you everything you need to do. So the very first thing you want to do is get Figma, and there are multiple ways you can get Figma. You can either use it as the browser or you can download it as an app. I'm just going to pull over my Google browser here. You can just go to Google and type Figma. Boom. Once you hit Figma, click on the Figma design. This is the official. Oh no, it's going to my it's going to my website already. Okay, that's because I already have Figma, but let's just open an incognito window here. All right, so we'll just go to Figma. Once you click on Figma, search Figma on your laptop, you're going to come to the Figma website, whereby you see product solutions, community, resource pricing, yada yada, all of this. What you want to do is click on Get Started for free. Once you click on Get Started for free, it will prompt you to create an email. You create an email, you get that sorted, and you're good to go. You can also come over here and see all of the products that have been newly released. You have the Figma Draw, Figma Buzz, Figma Site, Figma Make. All of these are kind of put together in Figma. Once you have your account created, the next thing you want to do is click on Download here. And this is where you can get the mobile or the desktop app. If you're a Windows or Mac user, you can download from here, desktop app for Windows ARM. And also all of the beta apps are also available there for you to download. Now, the mobile side of things, you have the mobile app, which is what you use to kind of mirror your Figma designs. You cannot design on the mobile app, but you can mirror your Figma designs to see how they look on mobile, and you can download them for all of the operating systems. And this is a handy thing you should also install, which is the font installer. So if you want to use some customized kind of fonts, this is what you're going to download to give you access to install all of those fonts in Figma. So Mac or Windows, download it. And just so you know, like the Figma desktop app already includes the font installer. So if you're downloading the Figma desktop app, you do not need to now install this. But if you're going to use it on your browser, you need to install this. Now that you've gotten that sorted and you've installed it, loaded up Figma, let me get rid of this. You're going to come over here. Now, this is just like a theme that I've created to illustrate this example. Figma gives you a free theme plan for you to use. If you have more confusion about the pricing, just come over here to pricing. You see there are different seats. The standard one, which is what I advise you to be using, is free, definitely. You can have unlimited drafts, UI kits, basic design file inspection. And then when you're comfortable with it or you've started working and you want to go advanced, you can now get the professional. I use the professional and it does everything, that I need it to do for me. You can get the full seat collab depending on which suits your boat. Get all of that. And one of the good things, if you're a student, Figma is free for students or educators. So I'm actually an educator because this said I should apply to get this free because I currently pay for my Figma. But that's something for another day. So you have also free seats with view comments and this all across the plan. So these are the plans. So just so you know. So now you've come into Figma. You're on this page here. The first thing you want to do is create a project where you're going to store everything you're going to be working on. And to do that, you come over here on the right here, click on project. Once you click on project here, you can now see the project you want to do. I've already created a project because I'm on the starter plan. You have only just one free project on the starter plan and 3 files to work in, like I already have here. So now it's prompting me to upgrade, but no need. If you're just opening it first, you'll see this starter there. So click on that and get started with it real quickly. So let's just go into one of these ones I've already created. So now Once you go into that project file you've created, the next thing you want to do is now to create the file you want to be working with. Figma has evolved from when it started with over like 5, 6, 7, whatever years ago. It has kind of evolved, so you need to evolve with it. Now we have design files, we have FigJam, Figma Slides, Figma Boards, Figma Site, Figma Make. Briefly go over all of them. The design is basically where you do most of your UI design work. That's the basic design part of it. The FigJam is where you do a lot of like planning, flow, design flows, information architecture, sitemaps, all those kind of things. So that's what you do there, similar to almost what Miro is. That's what you do in the FigJam. And for the Figma Slides, is basically PowerPoint, but in Figma. And its advantage is that like your prototypes work the way it's intended to work. You don't need to record videos and put story for another day. Then you have Figma Boards, which is basically to help you do a lot of social media kind of things. I have a video on how to use Figma Boards in the channel already. Go and watch that if you want to create assets and how to create bulk upload assets. The Figma site is basically competing with Framer. It's like Framer to help you create your sites, your portfolios, all of those kind of good stuff and just get them up and running. And then you have Figma Make, which is like the AI prompter that Figma is now testing to help you develop applications really quickly, you know, and get that started. And you have import. Now, this import is if you already have like a Figma file that you've saved either from a desktop or so, which in your case, it might not apply to you because you're just starting. You can import that file and get started. So now let's just start with the design. Click on the design and that's it. You get this design page just here. You get 2 free pages left. You can see plans. They're just trying to upsell you. Now, let me walk you through all of the good stuff that Figma now has for you. So this is just going to be like an overview of the Figma file interface. You've already created your first Figma files. And the first thing I'm going to walk you through is these controls right here on the bottom. What do they do and what are they? Now, this is the move. And once you hover over it, you're going to see their name. So this move is basically going to be used to move anything on your screen. For example, if I come over here to the rectangle, draw out the rectangle here, it's automatically going to switch to move. If you use any design kind of software, you know what that means. So once you left click on it, you can move that item easily. The next one is the frame, and you can use this frame to draw out frames for your designs. Alternatively, if you click on the frame, come over here to the right, you see different kind of frame template for phones, tablets, websites, presentation, even the watch design, you know, paper, social media, Figma community. This is where you're going to see all of that. When you come to archive holds like older phone models, and you can get other phone models if that's what you're working on specifically. So once you click on this arrow beside the frame, now you see other aspects of it, which is section and slides. Now, if you have different forms of designs that you're working on your board, you can put them in a section by clicking on the section or pressing Shift S and put that. And now this is in a section and you can just move that section up about. Very easy. It comes in handy as you start designing for that. You're going to see more of that. Slice is basically used to slice out part of the screen. I don't use part of your designs. I don't really use slides a lot. Now, let's go to the next object there, which is the rectangle object. This is basically just your shape object. If you click on the arrow, you can draw a rectangle, line, arrow, ellipse, polygon, star, or even like image and videos. And let's say click on ellipse. Like you can see, it just creates those shapes for you. Very easy, very handy for you to work with. And then you also have the pen tool. Like I said, if you use any design app or design software like Photoshop, you know what the pen tool is. Basically, a pen tool is like a vector manipulator that you can use to draw custom vectors and custom shape to suit whatever kind of design that you are working on. Very easy. That's just what it basically is. You can use it to draw different shapes, and when you're done, it creates that for you. Now, this got an upgrade, and it has created like different avenues for you to manipulate those vectors even better. Shape builder, paint, bend, and that's just what that shape to do. The next one is your text tool, and this is what you use to write in all of your text information. Once you click on it, you can type in text. And for example, if you want to type subscribe, which is what you should do if you're watching up to this point, right? Subscribe, you can do that with the text. With the text tool, you can either click on it as a single text or you can draw out a box and then still type within that boundary of the box for your text too. Now, after the text tool, you have the comment tool. And once you're designing and you want to get feedback, this is what most people are going to use to give feedback. Once you click on the comment tool, and you can click anywhere and click on and write a comment. I've been spamming this like and subscribe for so long. So now you have that comment. Anyone that comes here, you can see it there. You get that very easy. Another good thing with the comment tool, which is a quick hack, when you click on comment tool and you click on the front slash, you can now quickly write, and this stays for a while before it kind of like leaves and vanishes. All right. And then you also have the actions, whereby you can either insert components, find and replace, use a lot of the Figma AI assets and widgets. And now these are the three major added ones, where you have the Figma draw. You can switch to the Figma draw interface. You have the normal Figma one and the Figma. Yeah, it was just taking its time. That's the Figma draw, your normal Figma, or also like the dev mode. So that is basically the controls you have in Figma. And now we are going to go into like working with some of the colors and styles and shape, and where you can see most of that. To do that, I'm just going to start by drawing out a rectangle, which will expose some of the other properties like you can see on the right hand side. Now from this rectangle, once you click on an element there, you can see we have different avenues to work with, and I'm just going to walk you through some of the things on the right hand side. You have your design part and you have your prototype. When you've created prototypes, this is where you switch in between them. This video is not me teaching you how to actually design, but this is me walking you through all of the tools. So when you're watching any of my design tutorials and I'm speaking about it, you know where those tools are, you know what those actions are doing. Now, from here, you can see the alignment. This is basically what helps you align between elements. If you select multiple elements here, they become active. You can align them, top align, middle align. Oops, where is that? You can align them left align or right align, top, bottom, or in the middle. These positions here are just the vector positions on the Figma canvas. Figma works with two vector positions, which is the X and the Y axis. Currently, if you want to do the Z axis, I don't think there's no position for the Z axis currently now. Like a 3D kind of effect, but you can manipulate it. That's a video for another day. So by moving this, by changing these numbers, you can basically affect how and the size of, of your rectangle, like where they are on the screen. You can affect their position on the screen, make them move up or down. So that's for it there. The rotation is about the degrees. So the more rotation you put, the degree in which your element is going to rotate around, and you can just quickly rotate right 90, left, righty, flip horizontally and vertically, or flip horizontally or flip vertically. Now that is for just some of the basic tools that you'll be working with in Figma. Now the next thing you're going to notice is the layout panel side of it, whereby you have your width and height. Now the first one I said earlier is about the position on the board. That's the X and the Y axis, right? Y axis down, like the Y down, X, so up and down. But now when you come to dimension, is width and height, which is if you add more width to it, like you can see here, it expands or it grows. And if you reduce the height, it also reduces, right? Beside that, you can see this little button that pops up. Don't be alarmed when you see this. This is for you to apply variables, and this is like a more advanced complex that we'll speak when we start going deeper into design system. Make sure you subscribe to see that. That's a more advanced level. You don't need to worry too much about that. One of the good things that was added also is this lock aspect ratio. So when you're working with an image, you can lock that aspect ratio. If I lock this aspect ratio here, now when I expand this, it expands according to that aspect ratio. You see how this expands? But now this other element that I did not lock, you can see how it's not expanding with the aspect ratio. It's expanding freeform, while this other one expands with the aspect ratio. So that is why you need to lock that aspect ratio if that is what you want for your design. When it comes to appearance is just all about the look and feel. 1 second, I need to drink some water. Okay, back to it. Appearance is just about the look and feel of your design. So it has to do with the color. When you see opacity, the transparency, corner radius, how round do you want the edges to be? You can see by changing corner radius, you're going to change how round you want those elements to look and feel. Then when you come down to the fill, this is where you have the color for you to change either the color. For you to change the color, Figma has different color modes. Figma has the hex, RGB, CSS, HSL, and also the HSB. Depending on the one you want, you can just easily switch to those different types and change the figures as you please. You can also work on the transparency right from here, and this is going to help you save some of the images there. Now, over here on the top, you see the custom and libraries. Libraries, when you've started creating your design systems, they will appear under your library. But under custom here, you also have the ability to do gradients, or even if you want to do patterns, upload an image or upload a video, this is where you're going to get all of those controls over, even for the gradient, different types of gradient. This video is going to be really long if I dive into all of them, but I'm just giving you like an overview of the new Figma that has been updated, and for you to have just an idea, especially if you're just picking up Figma for the first time or you haven't picked it in a while, that will help you. Now, when you come to stroke, stroke is basically the border around an object. You can decide to add your stroke here by clicking a plus. You can add the color, how you want the stroke, inside, center, or outside, or the width of the stroke. Now, you can even, when you click on this advanced stroke setting, now you can change the stroke style from solid to dash. You can change the angles, the joints. You can change it from dynamic. You can also use brush. So it just depends on how you want your design to kind of work with, that you select the type of stroke style you want. Then you have the effects, and the effects are basically to manipulate that Z axis. Remember, I told you Figma has the X and Y, but with effects, you can add some shadows and depth to your design to give it like, you know, that kind of feel of almost a 3D or like elevation. In design system, it's called like elevations to your design. So you can manipulate that with the X and Y axis, the spread, the color, and all of that. And one of the good things is that you're not limited to just drop shadows. You can also have it as a layer blur if you want to blur the entire layer, inner shadow. And as I'm hovering over it, Figma just does like an example of what it would look like, which I think is really, really sick. This was not there before. Wow, that's really helpful right now. So you can just try and see the type of texture you want. This is really sick. This is nice. Good one, Figma. And that has to do with the effect. Anywhere you see this eye, it means you can basically hide or show. By clicking it, you can hide or show, and the minus is to remove that effect from that particular element you're working on. When it comes over to the export, this is where if you're using Figma for either social media or other things, you can export here. You can increase how, like, the resolution of your export. If you want it 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, some specific height and width, you can do that. The format of your exports, PNG, JPG, SVG, or PDF. If it's like icons and stuff, you want to do SVG. You can also use PNG or JPG if it's like, you know, media stuff or just like prints you want to do. You can also now the color profile and also like some other export settings you have over here and export it here. You can now also preview the kind of export, so you just have an idea of what your export will look like. That preview is going to show over there for you to use. You can see that preview and walk around with it. Now, some of the things that I didn't show you over here is I already showed you prototype and design, but also you have here the present. This will open Figma in another file. If you click on present, like you see, it's opening it in another file to kind of present your prototype. In this case, we don't have any prototype here. That's why you're seeing nothing. But the other preview is to kind of preview it within your design. So if you don't want to leave this page, you can just click on the preview and it's going to preview it while it's in your design. This can just float around while you're working on your other design. So that might come in handy. To reduce the screen size, you can zoom in, zoom out, different pixel preview, these are just settings that you can kind of want to use. By default, most of them were already selected. Some of the things that I'll advise you to turn on will be like rulers. Click on, make sure your rulers are turned on. What that does is it gives you these rulers over here where you can kind of use to align objects if you want to kind of eyeball it, that kind of situation. So that happens there. And then you have the share. Now, share is used to share your designs to whoever you want to share it with. You can keep it private and have only those that you've invited to see those designs. You can also have anyone in your team to view those designs, or you can make it dev mode. If it's only the prototype link, you can do that. You can also publish to the community. If you don't have a profile to prompt you to create one, you can just do that. Or get embedded code. Now, this is very useful if you're building design systems and you want to like put examples of this particular Figma design that you're working on for your systems. You can get the embedded code, get that, put it in the frame, and to work. Also, if you're doing your portfolio, you can copy the frame of that your portfolio stuff, put it on your website, and it's going to show it. These are more advanced concepts that if you need videos about them, let me know, and your boy would do a video for you, definitely. Now we are done with some of the more complex things on the right and on the bottom. Let's come over to the left, whereby here, this is your title of your file. To change it, you can just click on it and rename your file over here. Boom, that does stay. If you click on this arrow down here, you can see your version history. You can also see your exports. You can add to sidebar. You can create a branch or another whole. Figma is so complex now that like branching is just like the way engineers work in Git and have different branch. If you're working with design systems or like with different teams, you can create different branches and then they send requests. You can preview it, merge, all of those fine stuff that I just can't go through all of them in this video, guys. So like, I need to know if you need something and you need to tell me so I can get it for you, right? You can have duplicate. You can duplicate the file, rename it, go to the project, or even move it to trash, all of that. You have your file and assets. Assets are basically things like Figma now gives you like 3 major design systems that comes with all of your Figma. It has the iOS one, the material design, and also Figma's simple design system. So this is a good place to, get your hands kind of tidy, busy, if you want to just play around with Figma design system. That's what you do here. Over here, these are layers, and these are all of the layers that you've created. And whatever you create on this screen over here, it's going to show here. And once you hover over it, you can see it's kind of, Figma is just going to show you whether it's particularly. You can double click on it to rename it, or you can also just like right click, scroll down to rename. You can see all of that there. These are your pages. You can create more pages by clicking on the plus icon if you want to use multiple pages. You can also do that effectively, no problem. Now, some of the tips I'll give you is, if you're just starting out in Figma, one of the best ways to get up and running quickly is by actually designing. Try and design every day if you can. It will really help your design skills fast. If you need help from the community, you can see over this icon here over on the right bottom, help and resources. When you click it, you can get access to the help center. You can see some YouTube videos, but I advise you watch mine instead. You can also read their release notes, summaries, feedback, and also like all of the keyboard shortcuts. There are so many amazing shortcuts. You can see that you can change your keyboard layout or even change your language. Your next step from here now, I'll advise you to do is to create a project and create a design. Look for a tutorial you like, create a design, create something, just start doing something. And if you get stuck anywhere, let me know your challenge and I will try my best to help you. I hope this video has brought you some value. If it did, the way I would know is by you liking that and putting some yes, it brought me value in the comment section, and it will make me so happy and give me the motivation to still keep doing a lot of these videos for you guys. So that is it about Figma. There is no much more complications. Do not be scared if you're starting your journey. Go ahead. Being a UX designer is an amazing career choice. It's challenging and not everyone makes it to the end. But with a supportive community, with the help of more advanced designers, you can also become a top UX designer. Do not be scared. But that's it for today, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to watch some of my other videos there on the channel. If you want to learn more about some of the new advanced features of Figma, I've done some of the videos. Let me know the ones you need more, and I'll make sure I see you, yes, you, in the next video. Peace.